Hi you guys, and thank you so much for tuning into my channel. Before we even get into it, I want you, if you haven't already, please subscribe, show me some love, smash that like button, y'all. Show your girl some love. So I wanted to make a video about mental health and where I'm at mentally and what's been happening the past couple of days. So this isn't really going to be a fun video for me to make because, girl, I overdosed. Like, there is no easy way to say it. Girl, I overdosed. I OD'd. I was like, girl, so basically, for those that have been following me for the past couple of years, you would have noticed that 2021 was not really my year. A lot of challenging things happened. And they all came at me all at once. I think after I was assaulted, I really and I truly did lose my mind. I really did truly lose my mind. I mean, my goodness, the assault happened in July, and I've blocked out so much of that month. And even now, like, I'm still recovering. You know, I'm doing a lot better, but I'm still in the process of recovery. Now, recovery does not mean that, you know, you're not going to have bad days. Yes, you can be progressing and you can be recovering, but you can still have a bad day. You can still slip. You can still make a mistake. And that's what happened to me. I'm not going to lie. Being transgender and being black and being dark-skinned has honestly been an extremely difficult experience for me. I faced not only racism, but transphobia. And then when I started to pass and when I started to be read as female more often, then I was introduced into the wonderful world of misogyny and sexism. So it almost felt like I had things coming at me at every angle. You know, if it wasn't sexism from work, it was racism from like everywhere. Or it was me getting clocked every now and again. So there was always, it always felt like I never had an opportunity to just sit and breathe and process and like heal. I felt for the longest time that I've just been on survival mode and I've been on autopilot. Autopilot? No. But I feel like I've been on survival mode for the longest time, and really that's no way anyone should live. It really isn't. So I started going to therapy, which was really good, but still I was struggling. And on, I want to say it was probably a Wednesday or a Thursday, I don't know, it just all got too much for me. And I made the decision that I no longer wanted to Earth. I wanted to be unalive, essentially, and I was really okay with that decision. You know what I mean? I'd come to a point where I was at peace with knowing that my soul was finally going to rest. Because from the time I was born up until now, it's always been one thing after another. It's always been assaults. It's always been, negligence, abuse from family, colorism, all of these things coming at me all at once. So I got to a point where I was like, I'm done. And not only am I done, I'm actually at peace with the fact that I'm finally going to unearth. So I decided that I was going to, uh, take some Xanax. So Xanax is not my friend. It clearly isn't. I got these Xanax pills from some guy that sells them. And the Xanax tablet, like the tub, it comes with 100 pills. So I just went all in, and I just took all 100. All 100. I took some other medication that I had. I had, like, obviously I poured it all down with alcohol and some other things, to just make sure that the job would be done, and to make sure that I really would not open these pretty little eyes ever again. However, that's not what happened. That is not what happened. So obviously I take all the Xanax pills, I take all my medication, I drink and I drink and I drink and I drink. And what ended up happening was that I blacked out, but I was still conscious and functioning. So I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know where I had no, I don't know, like, I can't even explain it. It's almost like I was the living dead. I was like a zombie on that Friday and Saturday. So much so that the girl that I live with, she obviously noticed that something had happened, that I had done something, and she basically was like, I'm taking you to the hospital. You look like it looks like something's about to happen to you, and you are in a very, very bad state. So initially I was very, very reluctant to go to the hospital, but I'm glad that she made me go to the hospital. Had I not gone, something terrible would have happened, and I know that now. So fine. She takes me to this hospital. I don't even know why I'm laughing. She takes me to this hospital, and I'm admitted to the psychiatric ward. Now, the reason I did not want to go to the hospital, and the reason I did not want to go into the psychiatric ward, was because even though I was completely out of it, I knew that once they admit me, and they understand that, there's a threat that I might, unearth, they may not release me. I might stay there for weeks and weeks and weeks on end, under observation, and I was aware of this. But I'm so grateful that my friend was kind of like pushing and forcing for me to go. So all I remember is waking up. Like, I remember the conversation and her, like, essentially forcing me into the hospital. Thereafter, I black out again, and I wake up. I have these things around my, when in the hospital they put those, like, they put the bracelet around you, and you're in the gown, and all of that, girl, and I'm, like, laid up in some hospital bed. I just, like, I sit up, and I look around, and I'm like, dude, I'm in a psych ward. Girl, the chicanery that went on in that psych ward. I want to first start by saying that I'm so grateful that I went to the psychiatric ward, because I received the help that I needed to get. But it was not a fun place to be. A part of me believes that, hospitals kind of make people sicker. And when you're in a psych ward, it makes you feel like you're going, loony, because other people around you are also dealing with their own things. And once I'd come to, and once I was semi-conscious and I understood what was happening, my biggest fear was like, oh snap, I'm in the psych ward. They've obviously put me in the women's ward, and I didn't know if they knew that I was trans or not, and I was not going to tell anybody, because I felt that if I did tell someone, they would then transfer me into the men's ward. So I was just like, shh, I'm not going to talk nothing about no being trans. I'm not going to say nothing about that at all. But the funny thing is, even though I was so resistant on going to the hospital, even though I was so resistant on seeking the help that I really did need, it ended up being a positive experience. I think so often we associate all of these negative ideas and thoughts with mental health, and the minute you hear that somebody has OD'd and gone to a psych ward, you sort of like write them off as a person, and you think like, whoa, this person's a lost cause. They're never gonna, they're never gonna be right because they're too lost. And I had a lot of shame about that until I actually experienced what it was like being in the psych ward. So, I'm sat up there, and there were probably like, there were 11 of us. We all shared the same restroom, which meant that I needed to be very creative in terms of my bathing, because obviously I did not want anyone to see or to know or to whatever. And it was crazy because when I was admitted, I didn't have my makeup, and I didn't even have my tweezers or my razors, and I'm lucky enough that I can't grow a beard, but I do have a little bit of like there's a little bit that grows right over here. And on the second day, it started being noticeable. So you know what I did? Girl, this is what I did. The remainder of that psych ward, I just kept my mask like this. I was like, I did not want anyone to identify me as a trans person in that psych ward, because I felt that my experience would somehow be made worse and that I would be treated terribly. So I meet all these girls up in there. It kind of gave me the feeling of like, I don't know if you guys have ever watched Girl Interrupted, exposing my age, but it was a movie with Winona Ryder and Angelina Jolie, and they were all in this psych ward, and they all become friends, and they form these close relationships. It was like that for me, because everybody that was in there was sort of like battling the same demons, or we had all tried to do something to ourselves. And I'll never forget, there was this one girl, she is my soul buddy. When she first saw me, she didn't like me because her complaint was that I smiled too much. She was like, you're just always smiling. What are you happy about? Like, she didn't like the fact that I was always smiling. But once we got to talking, we were like besties. We were like joined to the hip. Girl, like, so many crazy things happened. And I love that girl, because was it not for her, we're going to call her Nati. So was it not for Nati, I think I would have literally gone crazy, because Nati just kept me laughing. She kept me positive. She was the one, like, even though she was low-key toxic, she just was such a breath of fresh air. So there's this other woman at the psych ward, lovely woman, but she was severely disturbed, I hate to say. And I'll never forget Nati, being the toxic heifer that she is, we're all having, like, dinner, and Nati tells this woman that there are demons in the food. So this woman is like looking at her food, and she's like, there are demons in the food? Are you serious? And she, like, sat with the plate for 30 minutes, like, just looking at it, looking for the demons and talking to them. And Nati was like, the only way we can expel these demons is if I eat your food. And I'm just looking at this girl like, girl, you are dead wrong for doing that. You know everybody in here is not well. Don't make jokes like this. Unfortunately, the nurses and the staff were not equipped to deal with people that were dealing with mental health, because, I hate to say it, they were low-key abusive. They really, really were low-key abusive. The same woman who saw a demon in her food, the nurses attacked her. Like, they put their hands on her. And there was another woman, who got beat up by the nurses. So, you know damn well that when I was up in that psych ward, I made sure that I was on my best behavior. Because what you need to understand is, if you're put in a situation like that, and you act erratic, or you act out and you're angry and you're screaming and you're doing all of that, they're going to keep you longer because you are demonstrating antisocial behavior. So they initially told me that I would only be in the psych ward for 72 hours because they needed all of the prescription medication that I'd taken to go out of my system. And I just remember thinking, 72 hours up in this place? Girl, even though it was difficult, even though I really didn't want to be there, I needed to be there. Because when I walked out of that psych ward, I had a new lease on life. I felt like, wow, you know what, Christabel, like, you really need to start taking care of yourself. You really need to start taking therapy seriously. And you really need to start doing away with all of these negative thoughts. Because that's what they are. We have these experiences, and yes, these experiences are real. But what kills us is when we, think about those experiences and focus on them and make those experiences our lived reality. And when we walk around, like Eeyore, believing that the world is against us, believing that everybody hates us, believing that life's never going to get better, that is what's going to take you into a mental institution. That's what's going to make you want to unearth. So, as difficult as it is, we have to fight this battle. Sometimes the happiest people and the strongest people are the most broken. Your friend who seems like she's super strong and has it all together, you don't know what demons she's fighting. You don't know what she's going through. So I think it's important that for us, just as human beings, whether you're trans, whether you're cis, whether you're gay, whether you're black, white, Indian, it doesn't matter. We all need to start taking better care of ourselves, and we all need to start valuing our lives. I have not valued my life ever, but I decide today that I take my power back. I decide today that I'm going to start valuing my life. I decide today that I'm going to start working on my mental health and actually making it a priority and not just surviving, because you are not put on this earth to just survive. You are put on this earth to thrive. You are put on this earth to be excellent. You were put on this earth to show us the beauty of the ambiguity of gender. You know what I mean? We all deserve to be here. You deserve to be here, my angel. We need you here. We're all in this together. And if you're feeling like you can't go on anymore, trust me, I understand. I know what it's like. I know what it's like to open your eyes and then just start crying because you're like, I woke up. Like, I know what it's like to wake up in the middle of the night screaming because you think you're being assaulted again. But these things are going to pass. I know it doesn't seem that way, and I know it doesn't feel that way, but I promise you, it will. So today I say out to every negative thought, and I embrace positivity, and I allow my body to restore itself to its natural states of good health. I accept and I embrace positivity, and I allow myself to live. Because it's not the DL men that are ending us. It's not the chasers that are ending us. We're the ones who, because of how cruel the world is, start to self-harm. We're the ones who start to hurt ourselves. We're the ones who, we're the ones who deal with this stuff. So we're the ones who have to fix it. This video has been all over the place because it's still something that I'm trying to process, but just know that, I am still working on my mental health. I'm back in therapy. I'm doing a lot better than what I was. And that's why, I've been so infrequent on YouTube. But hopefully that'll change. And I just wanted to say, I've never really done this, and I've never really been comfortable with the whole idea of asking people for anything, but if you can at all, if you want to help donate to the channel and help me get into an outpatient program, please. Or even an inpatient program, because I'm committed to living. I have many years ahead of me, many fabulous years ahead of me, and I'm going to do everything in my power. If it means that I have to scream and cry out to the internet for help, then I'm going to do that, because my life is important. And your life is important. And I want you to know that there is no shame in asking for help. There is no shame in going to a therapist or going to the hospital and being like, I can't do this anymore, I need help. So, if you can donate to the channel, please, the link to my PayPal is in the description below. If you can't, please, I'm begging you to just send me prayers at this time. I love you guys so much. I know we're all going to get through this. There's a reason why my channel is called Power Ranger Princess, because I believe that us as trans women, we are powerful. We're powerful beyond our greatest, we are powerful beyond our wildest belief or wildest imagination. And we are princesses that deserve to be taken care of. But before other people can take care of you, you need to learn how to take care of yourself. I love you. I'm rooting for you. I'm here for you. Know that you're not alone. I know that I've been smiling and giggling throughout this whole video. But that's because I'm the type of person that, I don't like I don't like to come across as super depressed, and I don't like to come across as super sad. So unfortunately, I've learned over the years to mask my sadness by smiling and giggling and just being cute. But one day I really hope that I'm One day I really hope that I'm actually going to be happy. And I look forward to that day because I know that it's going to come. One day my smile is going to be real, and one day, I will be in a better place. And in order for me to get to that better place, I need to fight for my life. And I want you to fight for your life because you're important. I love you guys so much, and I'm going to end it right here. Alright, bye.